This presentation was paid for by CGTN. The opinions, views, and claims expressed are those of CGTN and may not necessarily reflect those of CNBC.
Economy, innovation, culture, exploration. Discover the vibrant pulse of China's economy and dive into the rich tapestry of its culture. Embark on a journey of exploration with Meet China. Here, your journey begins.
Hello and welcome to Meet China. I'm Lin. Today we explore inspiring stories of cross-border connection, from healthcare and agriculture to dance and cultural preservation. First, we visit Deqing County, where an Australian patient returned for surgery after a great experience, this time blending Chinese and Western medicine. It's a story changing views on Chinese healthcare.
When you're traveling or living abroad, getting sick is always a concern, especially with language barriers. But in China, even in a small county town, you don't have to worry. There are even people who return here just for medical treatment.
I came into this hospital here. I knew there was an international department here and the staff could speak English.
So do you have appointment?
No, I don't.
Normally we always have appointment, but let me try to contact doctor if someone have help you.
So I was comfortable about coming here and they were able to help me out in terms of the next step, which was to get a biopsy done. And so once the biopsy was going to take a little bit of time, so I did shoot back to Australia, hoping I could get it done there and concerned that I might have cancer and the results being negative. So I came back to Australia, but the term was going to be quite long in Australia, so I decided that it'd be better to come back to China because the procedure could be done here much faster, and I was confident with the facilities here being able to do that.
The treatment plan I set up for David is pretty much the same as what he got in Australia, which is great because it boosts his confidence in us. Plus, getting medical care here is very convenient. Everything runs smoothly, and we keep the lines of communication open and quick. Because of that, when he chose to come back for surgery, he mentioned that he's totally at ease with us handling any of his future health concerns.
After his follow-up appointment, David decided to check out the hospital's Chinese medicine department to address his sleep issues.
Through touch your pulse, I will recommend you to take the TCM herb. Do you want to try?
Yeah, let's try that. I'm happy to try something, yeah.
Experiencing the blend of Eastern and Western medicine gave David a deeper appreciation for the diversity of China's healthcare system, while also letting him feel a sense of warmth that goes beyond borders.
Healthcare knows no borders. No matter where our patients come from, we provide the same level of care to everyone. Even though we're a county-level city, we're highly internationalized. We're constantly working to improve our facilities and services. For example, our staff are always improving their language skills. Through these efforts, we hope to give our international friends in Deqing access to top-quality medical care so they can live and work here with peace of mind.
As global medical tourism grows, China's healthcare system is drawing attention from expats worldwide. Known for its efficiency and innovation, the system is no longer confined to major metropolises. Smaller county-level regions like Deqing and Zhejiang Province are now making significant inroads on the international stage. Olivia He, CGTN, Deqing County and Zhejiang Province.
This presentation was paid for by CGTN. The opinions, views, and claims expressed are those of CGTN and may not necessarily reflect those of CNBC.
Next, in Sekinchan, Malaysia, Chinese agronomists and local farmers are working together to grow hybrid rice. Since 2018, this partnership has boosted harvests and strengthened food security.
Rice is a staple food for more than half of the world's population. Ensuring food security relies heavily on increasing rice yields. In Sanya, Hainan Province, Chinese scientists are making significant advancements in hybrid rice breeding.
We finished a project here with a yield of 22.5 tons per hectare for double cropping rice in the local area. This can be considered a very high yield level, both in China and even in the world. Rice originated in China. We have very abundant rice breeding resources. Our rice production is #1 in the world. In terms of the foundation of scientific research, the level of scientific research, and the level of high-yield breeding, we can even say that we are leading in these areas.
Professor Tu Shengbing from the Chengdu Institute of Biology shows us their latest crops that have just been planted. These are the testing grounds for various rice strains, each designed to maximize output and resilience.
By continuously advancing our field trials, we can select and compare under the same conditions. We place different strains under identical fertilization and water management. As you can see, there are clear differences in their growth. For example, in their yield, resistance, and even quality. Through laboratory testing and genetic testing, we can detect even the smallest differences. The seedlings are about a month old, about 30 days. They'll enter the heading and flowering stage in 2 or 3 months. Then the grains will start to develop. Normally, it takes about a decade to cultivate a new conventional variety. It's like waiting for the birth of our own baby. We keep improving one of its traits and select the best of the best. We can say that they are the cream of the crop.
Hybrid rice has long been promoted across Asia as a solution to hunger. It continues to push the boundaries of agricultural productivity under the pioneering vision of Yuan Longping, China's father of hybrid rice. Generally, hybrid rice outperforms conventional varieties by 20 to 30%. Yuan's hybrid rice has been cultivated in over 60 countries and regions. Research teams like Professor Tu's are sharing this hybrid technology with neighboring countries. They monitor paddy yields through video conferences.
Our varieties can achieve high yields under conditions of high fertility and abundant water, and they can also do it in the neighboring countries around the South China Sea and ASEAN countries through simplified cultivation.
The similar climates of China and ASEAN countries enable the sharing of agricultural advancements with nations like Malaysia. In Sekinchan, Malaysia's rice belt, farms are large and yield around 8 tons per hectare. But the national average remains just 4 tons per hectare.
I've been planting rice with my mom since my childhood. One problem in Malaysia is that we don't have enough rice, and we rely heavily on imported rice. This is a huge blow for the economy of Malaysia. So, we've spent a lot of efforts on rice cultivation in the past 6 decades, and so has our government, but we still couldn't do it well.
Malaysia's struggle with food security was highlighted during the pandemic. Chinese hybrid technology presents a viable option. Since 2018, Professor Tu and his team have frequently visited Sekinchan, where Chinese techniques have been implemented. Yields have increased to over 12 tons per hectare. Now more farmers there are optimistic about the future.
I've just started planting hybrid rice. I'm not sure how it will turn out, but I hope it will yield good results, because the other varieties we had tried were not very ideal.
Currently, we have a self-sufficiency ratio in Malaysia only about 65% of rice. So there's an opportunity to have the collaboration with China in terms of introducing hybrid rice, and the future collaboration is very good for Malaysian industry.
The Malaysian Agricultural Research and Development Institute, or MARDI, is expected to sign a Memorandum of Understanding with Professor Tu's institute. The goal is to use Chinese hybrid rice technology on a large scale in Sekinchan. Malaysia aims for 80% rice self-sufficiency by 2030.
We want to work with MARDI's research team to adapt hybrid rice to Malaysia's climate, market, and consumer needs, to study and localize hybrid rice, to lower its costs, and to promote large-scale cultivation. After reducing rice imports and meeting its domestic needs, they can also export rice to China.
We hope that with China's help, we can grow hybrid rice, increase yields in Malaysia, and make rice more affordable for our people.
Professor Tu comes from Chengdu, the granary of Western China. His dream is to create a regional granary by sharing hybrid rice technology with ASEAN neighbors like Malaysia.
This presentation was paid for by CGTN. The opinions, views, and claims expressed are those of CGTN and may not necessarily reflect those of CNBC.
Then we follow Vietnamese dancer Vu Minh An, who returns to Guangxi to create a new piece that combines Vietnamese ca trù and Chinese classical dance, a stunning cultural blend.
In 2007, at the age of 11, along with 8 friends, Vu Minh An came to the Guangxi Arts University affiliated arts secondary school and formed a special Vietnamese class to learn traditional Chinese dance. After 6 years of studying art, she returned to her homeland, where she became a rising star of the Vietnamese dance scene. In 2018, she chose to step out of the limelight and return to campus to pursue further studies. Her first choice was her alma mater in China.
After going back to work in my home country, I realized that I still needed to further my studies. Guangxi Arts University is like my second home. Through my own major, which is dance choreography, I can better develop the friendship between the two countries.
Over the past 17 years, while growing up with dance, she has thought about the two countries' traditional cultures. She wants to integrate these two cultures for her graduation group dance. Sa tru singing is a traditional Vietnamese art form that originated from ancient court chamber music. The content is mostly based on ancient poems. The singers are collectively known as Lady Dao. The solo dance of the Old Lady Dao is the most difficult part to create. Young Vu Minh An is finding it a bit hard. During these years at school, every time she encounters difficulties, she always thinks of one person.
Five, 6, 7, go. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, stop. Minh An.
Ms. Wei.
Darling.
Long time no see.
Wei Yi-en was Vu Minh An's teacher at secondary school. Back then, young Vu Minh An and her classmates were in a foreign country. The teachers of the secondary school not only taught them, but also helped ease their homesickness. The students often hung out at Wei Yi-en's house and called her Chinese mother.
How's it going with your graduate studies?
I want to do a group dance. The protagonist is Lady Dao. How will you capture this character's form? I'll dance for you. In our dance, she sits like this. She slowly unfolds her body.
When turning, don't get up too much.
I need to bend down.
Bend and move like this. Then, this form can come out. You were too girlish just now.
Let me try again and please take a look. Wrapped up.
5, 6, 7, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Holding.
Perhaps after a while, the Lady Dao from Vietnamese history will be able to dance on an overseas stage. The friendship across countries and cultures are the rainbow skirts of Lady Dao.
This presentation was paid for by CGTN. The opinions, views, and claims expressed are those of CGTN and may not necessarily reflect those of CNBC.
Finally, in Quanzhou, local residents keep heritage alive. A bridge guide and a retired teacher show us how community stories help preserve the city's legacy.
Dear audience, good morning. This is I Love Chuanzhou. Chuanzhou Loves Me broadcasting station. A beautiful new day is beginning. Make a wish every day. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't lament yesterday, because today will be better. There's happiness ahead. Go, go, go.
I work in the culture and tourism business. Before I learned about Chuanzhou's history and culture, I was like everyone else, running around to make a living. Head down, I was charging ahead. A cup of soybean milk, please. You don't get back to seeing you much. Soon?
All right, I'll be going there soon. I'll be back in the evening.
As a Chuanzhou local, I'm part of this living museum. I used to take it for granted, but then I was deeply affected by the exhibition Chuanzhou, Emporium of the World in Songyuan, China.
The ancient port city of Chuanzhou lies on the coast of Zhejiang Province in southeast China. As the starting point of the Maritime Silk Road, it was a major hub of international commerce during the Song and Yuan dynasties. In this, a key role was played by one of its most important historical landmarks, Luoyang Bridge.
Luoyang Bridge is also known as Wannan Bridge. It was built between 1053 and 1059 during the reign of Emperor Renzong of the Northern Song Dynasty. So, it's over 960 years old. As China's first cross-sea beam bridge, it was built by the authorities but involved popular participation. The level of difficulty in building it back then is comparable to that of building the Kong-Jahai-Macau Bridge today. The stone beams are 9 to 12 meters long, 40 to 60 centimeters wide, and 60 to 80 centimeters thick. How were such heavy stone beams placed on the piers? They used the power of nature. They laid the stone beams on canoes side by side when the tide was ebbing. When the tide rose, they floated up naturally. Then they sailed the canoes into the space between two piers and waited for another ebb tide when the beams descended onto the piers. During the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms period, the Luoyang River's boar tide in Chuanzhou rivaled that of the Qiantang River. Next, we'll talk about the role of Luoyang Bridge in the history of Chuanzhou. I'm a guide to Luoyang Bridge. What inspired me to take up this job? Actually, it's a simple story. In 2021, I read about Chuanzhou's successful World Heritage listing. Over the next 2 to 3 years, I did more reading. I was most impressed by Luoyang Bridge. Why? Because it was the first thing I learned about Chuanzhou.
那么其中洛阳桥对我的印象是非常深的，为什么呢？因为对于泉州，我第一个了解它的地方，恰恰就是这座桥。
Let's go through the bridge opening. The pier cutwaters resemble the shape of our boat. I've read that the Luoyang River takes in upstream waters and flows into the ocean. The water inflicts a powerful force on the piers. The boat-shaped cutwaters disperse the force. In fact, there's a wide space between the piers.
其实它这个桥墩之间还是很宽的，啊。
Watch out. See how thick the stone slabs are. They're 60 to 80 centimeters thick. Usually we sail this way when we're heading out to sea. This way leads to the estuary at Hoju Bridge. This looks like a ferry. Yes, the ferry's in the middle.
渡口一般还是在这里啊。
平时的渡口都在这个中间下来。
在中间。
The 3rd, 18th, and 27th days of the month by the lunar calendar see a high tide. Will the 18th day of the 9th month this year see another high tide?
The tide rises on that day every year, but it also depends on the weather.
The stone bridge has a unique cross-sea beam-style design that allows it to accommodate the ebb and flow of the local waterways. Such was its importance that for centuries, it was known as the #1 bridge in the world.
You
can see some dense white stuff on the piers. They're oysters, used to cement the foundation. The Luoyang Bridge is the world's first example of a raft foundation. See the large stone slabs. Stones had to be placed in the deep mud to form a long stone underwater dragon, 1 kilometer long and 25 meters wide. With this foundation in place, the boat-shaped piers followed. Our ancestors knew that the biggest challenge was powerful waves sweeping the stones away. So, biotechnology was introduced into bridge building for the first time by attaching oysters to the piers. One thing about oysters is that once they stick to a surface, they'll cling onto it until they die and turn into calcium carbonate. This is how the integrity of the entire bridge, including the piers and foundations, has been preserved. Even after all these years, this 1,000-year-old bridge still looks good.
Wang Jialong enjoys a unique bond with Luoyang Bridge. As a Fujian native, he also has a special place in his heart for the local Chuanzhou culture.
像我们这4样就是我们洛阳江水产4大特色。
These are 4 unique aquatic products from the Luoyang River. Fish, oysters, razor clams, and red crabs. They're all plump and taste delicious. See the color of the oysters. They're mostly yellow, but in fact there are white, black, and yellow ones. The yellow ones are the best. The Luoyang River crosses an intertidal zone, producing this unique species of oyster. They're rich in amino acid. Eating them can boost children's intelligence. We made oyster omelet, as you can see in the video. It's a typical southern Fujian dish.
镜头看的这个这个就是闽南地道的一道名小吃，叫海蛎煎。
I think oysters epitomize the men and women of southern Fujian. How come? The city depends on the ocean and thrives thanks to it. So, people here spend half their time in the fields and the other half in the ocean, just like oysters. This bridge linked the river's southern and northern banks, turning a natural gulf into an accessible passage. It connected Chuanzhou to the maritime Silk Road in the Song and Yuan dynasties, and also connects the old and new me. This bridge is good for me, in that visitors who listen to my explanation learn more about Chuanzhou, and this boosts my confidence in my hometown and its culture. It's all thanks to Luoyang Bridge. There's an old saying in Chuanzhou that we should stand as upright as the east and west towers and lie as still as Luoyang Bridge. Let's try saying it in southern Fujian dialect. Welcome to Chuanzhou. I'm waiting for you.
Guo Hongbin is a local historian and tourism expert. Although not a native of Chuanzhou, she fell in love with both the city and one of its residents back in the 1990s. This led to her settling down and eventually retiring here.
As is popularly said online, one person can make you fall in love with a city. That's my story. My husband was born in Chuanzhou. After settling with him here, I found I really liked my life in Chuanzhou. My husband took me on a tour of every corner of Chuanzhou. In recent years, I've become a guide to Chuanzhou Ancient City. Chuanzhou's World Heritage sites are concentrated in the Old Quarter. Since I'm not a Chuanzhou local, when it comes to sharing allusions or anecdotes about the neighborhood with visitors, I ask my husband for help. After all, he grew up on Zhejiang Road. He's always been my first listener and critic in my career as a guide. Also, he's the first to praise me when I get the story right.
同时呢，是我的第一个呢，在讲解过程当中的肯定者。
I remember when I first took visitors to Sekinchan Temple, I stammered a lot. All I could say was that Sekinchan Temple was one of Chuanzhou's 3 jungles, and that it had been built up, starting in the 1980s.
这个后面80年代开始，才陆续呢这个建起来的。
We're here at the site of Fumen Temple, an ancient academy in Chuanzhou. We're now standing beside Bai Pavilion. You can see Pan Pool. The stone bridge over it is Pan Bridge. Our ancestors, when they went to school, had to cross the bridge. Further on, we'll find Deqing Hall, where people offer sacrifices to Confucius. What's the finest feature of Deqing Hall? Its hipped roof with double eaves. This kind of roof was of the highest standard in ancient architecture.
She really shows an interest. By contrast, some Chuanzhou locals know very little about it. There are plenty of people like that. It's a matter of curiosity. She often refers to the information. Sometimes we help her organize it. The next day, she'll visit the sites to share what she's learned.
I recall once when we were introducing Kaiyuan Temple, I started by strictly following the script. My husband told me I'd do a better job if I translated the script into plain stories, as these would be more interesting and lively.
He knew
Kaiyuan Temple very well and told me its stories in his own way. Then I understood for the first time that we shouldn't just be reciting facts to visitors. Instead, we should weave aspects of our life into promoting Chuanzhou culture and thus piquing their interest. Yes, the streamer's a symbol of Taoism. It also incorporates the Mongolian element of clouds, also the image of flying. All these elements are included. That's why we keep saying that Chuanzhou is a melting pot of diverse cultures. We've always had these training activities, especially when students join in. They bring in new ideas. The kids are all eager to learn during the training sessions. Then they can pass on what they learn and make innovations based on it. Explanation isn't just about introducing things, but also about carrying forward ancient stories and further developing Chuanzhou culture. We're now heading to Fengtian Temple. Facing the street, you can see 8 windows. There are pillars between them. How many pillars are there? There are 9 Zen pillars and 3 column bases beside them. These columns are for protection. If you look up, you'll see that people worshipping in Fengtian Temple had no roof above them.
2 stories are told about this.
One is that in 1604, during the Ming Dynasty, it was struck by a massive earthquake which shattered the dome. The other is that Fengtian Temple had no roof from the start, as it was a place for Muslims to worship. Look up, please. You'll see the full moon platform. You can even see the wall piers. These are significant. For example, there are 24 wall piers, suggestive of the 24 solar terms.
Stay tuned for these inspiring stories and more right here on Meet China. I'm Lin Lin. Thanks for joining us and see you next time.
This presentation was paid for by CGTN. The opinions, views, and claims expressed are those of CGTN and may not necessarily reflect those of CNBC.